Hello, how you doing today? Thank you again for joining us for the Business of Music Conference Spring Edition, the kickoff for the year. We got some great speakers coming on today. You could be anywhere else. We just thank you that you joined us on this evening, 6 p.m., 4/23/2021. Thank you so much. I'm going to open up with a little prayer. Father God, we just thank you for being so kind to us, God, for seeing this day, this time, and this hour, God, that you would not only bless every ear that hears, Lord God, but also bless those that couldn't be here, but wanted to be here in spirit, God. Give us a word for the times, Lord God. Give us a word, God, that will encourage and uplift people, God, and help them go through the things that they're going through. But let them know that unity, God, us coming together like this, one at a time, two at a time, three at a time, God, we can change the world together. So let the information lead to their hearts, God. Let it change their lives as well, God. And we just thank you for being our God. We love you more than anything. And we thank you. In Jesus' name we pray. Amen. Amen and amen. So we just thank you. Again, the Business of Music Conference, Spring Edition. We kick off like this, opening remarks, me on the screen. There's so much that is in my heart right now, so much that I want to pour out to you, so much that I want to say. The theme of the conference today is, in spite of it all, build strong. That means in spite of what's going on in your life, in spite of the things that you're seeing with your eyes, in spite of the things that are happening right before you, the things that you're hearing on the news, the rumors of wars, the things that just don't make sense to you, in spite of every opposite and every equal thing happening one at a time. There's good and bad. There's bad and good. There's so much going on. So you have so many distractions. There's things that have been put in your way to distract you from your purpose. And I'm here to tell you tonight, in spite of it all, in spite of everything that you see around you, in spite of everything that you're going through, in spite of that car payment that has you, in spite of trying to go work in a condition that's not healthy for you, in spite of being there for your family, but having to go do a 9 to 5 in conditions that are not good for you, stay at home. Hey, I'm not an advocate of change. We got to be the change. We got to change the way that people think. We got to change the mindset of people. They got to understand that, hey, we are who we are. And we've been doing so much. We've been doing so much to stay safe. And we're still in a pandemic. Almost a year later, going through the same thing. So again, I say, in spite of it all, build strong. This is a building time for us. Everything seems shut down. Oh, restaurants are shut down. Everybody's shut down. Can't go in them. Everything is shut down right now. The whole world is shut down. They don't even know when they're coming back up. But we got to be the change that people want to see. So it's like a reset. It's like, boom, everything reset right now. Boom, now we have a chance to build again. We got a chance to get money again, do the things that we know to live again. And most importantly, plan again. Plan. When you plan, you plant. When you plan, you plant your idea. And God will water it. I'm just going to be real. That's what got me right here before you right now. My everything, man. My life is not pickles and cream. Is that even a theme? I don't know. But I want you to know that life lives finest. Going through life, but also being able to plant, because you live on a planet. So you plant things on a planet, and it'll grow. It'll grow as long as you water it with the right things. So in spite of it all, don't just build strong, build a plan. Build a plan so that you can have a foundation to be watered. Look, if you don't have nothing to be watered, where's the water going to go? Going to run aside the wayside. So in spite of it all, build strong in this time. Don't get complacent. Don't get sideways looking at the news too much. Cut the TV off. They don't want to tell you nothing good. They want to tell you that, hey, you're going to be in this system just like we are. I say build strong. Build strong. Build right now. Get all your friends that you know. Unite. Connect with one another. Hey, I can help you. You can help me. Hey, we can help each other. The question of the hour is not whether we'll be here tomorrow, because they don't want us here. Nobody wants us here. But the question is, Will we be able to love each other enough to say, hey, I put down my ways for you? Because we're all got gifts. We're talented. We're individuals. Everyone on this call tonight, everyone is probably watching. You're here because you want to see something great change in the field that you're in. Yes, music business, industry, period. But understand this one thing. If you don't build strong now, you won't be building at all. So build strong. In spite of it all, your differences with people, unforgiveness. Hey, I'm going to go to the root of the matter. I'm not going to stay on the surface and think about the things that we built. I want to go to what's inside of you. And that's in your mind. How are you thinking right now? How are you growing? How are you going to grow? Have you even thought about it? Or are you still waiting for somebody to give it to you? Look, I'm not here to beat you down. I'm here to encourage you and lift you up. Because you're my brother and I love you. You're my sister and I love you. Look, I just want to lead in love. And if I can do that right now by influencing each and every one of you to love too, that's the answer. That's the answer to our question. So in spite of it all, build strong. I got a couple giveaways I want to give. But the way I want to do it is I'm going to draw some names out of hats. I'm going to my list right now. And I just want to give away. Give me a second while I get this together, please. Terrell Whitby, if you're listening, brother, send me an email. I have a prize pack for you. I'm going to do 2 more. The book God blessed me with, A Beginner's Guide to the Music Business, is a gift pack. A Beginner's Guide to the Music Business. And a shirt coming pink, black, and beige, also being a gift pack. That's our new logo, One Nation Under God Records. Hope y'all enjoy it. I love it too. I got 2 more to give out. We just flowing though. We just flowing. Mariah Speller, if you're on here tonight, please send me an email. And Sister Izzy, I see you too. Send me an email, Sister Izzy. So that's our 3 for the evening. Without further ado, let's go ahead and get this thing started. Hey, we're just going to have fun tonight. We're just going to have fun. Look, I just want to be real with everybody, man. Like, God is great. You know, and I want to tell everybody that. I want to tell you how great he's been to me. So I have a book I wrote, The Book of Brian, the Living Testament, coming soon. That's all I want to say. Let me get to the real people, though, you know, the real show, you know. Without further ado, I want to introduce to you our moderator and a speaker for the evening, Esquire, LaTanya Moore. I'm going to let her introduce herself because I know she can tell you better about her than me. But I just wanted to express how truly grateful I am to have such a wonderful lady on the call with me this evening to really just run the show. Like, I really appreciate that, like, from the bottom of my heart. Hey, look, I'm a real person. I know everything was last minute. I'm going to let the world know. But you great, so be great. Without further ado, LaTanya S. Moore, Esquire.
Good evening, everyone. Thank you so much, Brian, for that wonderful introduction. You know, I believe that all things happen the way that they are supposed to happen. And you know what? We don't have to live our lives with apology. So I love the theme. I could talk a lot about myself, but I think that it's a lot more important, you know, that we really think about the theme for this evening. You know, in spite of it all, build strong. And I think that is so fitting for what is happening right now here, not just in the nation, but also in the world. I love the fact that they are bringing a lot of people together to share lots of knowledge with you, because we definitely know that oftentimes people are taken advantage of, right? Whether it's in the music industry or otherwise. I see this with my clients all across the world. So this is not just a United States phenomenon, right, of people doing the things that they do. It is actually something that happens in business in general. So thank you so much for giving me this opportunity to moderate tonight. There's some background noise. I'm not sure exactly where that's coming from. If someone can check that out for us. But without further ado, I actually want to introduce an absolutely phenomenal speaker who I know personally, and that is Mrs. Bernadette L Harris. She is an award-winning tax and forensic accountant. She is a best-selling author, an adjunct professor. She is a podcast host and a TEDx speaker committed to keeping small business in business. She is the CEO of By the Book Accounting. She has helped thousands of entrepreneurs across the country start, operate, and grow thriving ventures. Bernadette, a certified fraud examiner, she has a BS in accounting, an MBA, and an MS in fraud and forensics. She is an expert at taking complex subjects like tax and accounting, and we know that those are complex, and making them easy to understand, but also making them fun. She's been featured on ABC, CBS, NBC, and lots of other nationally known media outlets, speaking on entrepreneurship and fraud prevention. So without further ado, I'd like to introduce Bernadette L Harris.
Thank you, Tanya. Thank you for the introduction. Okay, so am I starting my part now? I know we freestyling it.
Yes.
Okay, all right, that works. All right, so good evening, everyone. Being in this virtual world is a little bit of a challenge because I love energy and feedback. So if you are in the comments, please talk to me just so I don't feel like I'm alone in here. So just to kind of give you an understanding of who I am, I want to start off by saying that I have a confession. I never wanted to be an entrepreneur. You see, I went to college and I thought that I was going to get my degree, graduate, work for one company for 30 years, just like my mom did. And about 4 years after I graduated from college, I got bit by the entrepreneurial bug. I started my first business, and let's just say I haven't looked back. And one of the things that entrepreneurship has shown me is a lot of times people are very, very passionate about what they do, but they don't understand the business of entrepreneurship. And so that's what got me into starting my accounting firm, which I started 19 and a half years ago, because I wanted to help people to do what they love. And that is why my motto is keeping small business in business. One of the things that I know for a fact is people don't go out of business because they don't know how to do what they do. They go out of business because they don't know how to run a business. So you heard all of that stuff that I've done. And one of the things that I did is that I'm also an author. And one of my top selling books, and I'm going to show it here, is called Business Blueprint. This is the book that I wrote to help small business owners stay in business. And you may have heard in my bio that I am an adjunct instructor. I teach at a music school, and that's my connection to this conference. I teach at a music school. I teach accounting and entrepreneurship. And my book is actually the textbook for the course that I teach at this school. Because one of the things that this school, Atlanta Institute of Music and Media, what they realized is that these potential entrepreneurs need to understand the business side of business. And so that's what I want to share with you all tonight. So I like to say that in order to be successful in any business, not just in the music business, but in any business, you need 3 S's, right? And so the first S that you need is a squad. right? And so in the music business, you probably think of this as your entourage, the people who roll with you when you are going to your different events. But when I'm talking about a squad, I'm talking about people who are going to be on your team to help you win. So you remember when you were in elementary school, or at least when I was in elementary school, we used to have PE, or you call it PE or gym class, phys ed, whatever you called it, wherever you live in the world. And when I was in PE, the PE teacher would assign 2 students to be captains. And those 2 students, their responsibility was to pick people on their team, right? Whatever we were playing that day. So we might be playing kickball or dodgeball or softball or whatever. And you were picking people to be on your team. So the day that you got to be the captain, you made sure that you picked the people who were what? Going to help you win. So you're going to pick the tall kids. If you're playing basketball, if you're playing kickball, you might pick the fast kids because you need them to be able to run around the bases, right? But you pick people who would be on your team to help you win, right? This wasn't the time to pick your friends. This wasn't the time to pick your buddies. This was the time to pick people who will help you win. And the same is true in business. When you are in business, it is important that you surround yourself with people who can help you win, right? So who are some of these people that you need on your squad as a business owner, right? So one of the first people that you need is you need an accountant. You need an accountant on your team. And the accountant is the person that's going to help you win in the IRS arena, right? They're going to be the ones to help you keep your books in order, make sure your taxes are filed right and on time, keep you out of trouble, right? Then you need an attorney. You need an attorney on your team to review your contracts, to draft your contracts, to make sure that you aren't signing your life away. You need someone on your team that's going to help you win in that legal industry, right? And then there may be other people depending on what it is that you need, right? In any industry, you need a mentor. You need somebody who has been where you are trying to go. This is someone who knows the way and they can show you that way as well, right? And there may be others that you need on your team, but those are some of the basic people that you need on your squad. So when you think about the people that you need to have on your team, start thinking like, who do you need on your team, right? And when you think about your team, you want to make sure that you pick people who bring something to the table that you don't have, right? You don't need another you, right? You need somebody that's gonna know that knows something that you don't know. So think about your squad. Who do you need on your squad, right? The next thing that you need is, as far as to be successful, is you need systems, right? And so systems are the things that help you run your business efficiently. And every business has different systems, and those systems will vary from one person to another. So how will you handle your accounting, right? What is your accounting system going to look like? How do you get paid? How are you keeping track of it? How are you keeping track of your expenses? What does that system look like? How do you handle the system? You need a CRM. CRM stands for Customer Relationship Management. How are you going to manage the people that you meet? Because we're networking, you're at events, whether they're virtual, whether they're in person, you're meeting people. How do you keep track of all these people? Of who does what, right? You need a system. You need a system to be able to help you to keep track of those things. How will you do that? How do you maintain the efficiency? What is your marketing system? How do you get the word out about what it is that you do? Whether you are a musician or a singer or an artist or whatever, how will you let people know about you, about your business? What is your marketing system? So I'm gonna pause for a second because I see some comments. I want to see if I have any questions in the chat. If you have
Bernadette,
any questions.
one of the questions is, how do you find the right squad as a newbie and avoid bad-minded people?
So one of the things that I found is that I believe what my grandma used to tell me. She used to say that birds of a feather flock together, right? And so one of the things that I found to be a tip that's successful for me is hanging with other entrepreneurs, hanging with other people who are high-minded, right? And because of the people that I associate with, like LaTanya, I'm associating with people like that. So if I don't know somebody, I can say, hey, LaTanya, do you know somebody who does XYZ? And being able to, so that's one way. Referrals is one of the best ways that I've found people. I mean, that is how most of the people that I know are people that I've been referred to. Hey, LaTanya, do you do this? No, but I know somebody who does, and they refer me. So ask around, right? And if you are not walking in circles where the people in your circle can provide you with those referrals, get a new circle. Get a new circle. Any other questions?
I don't see any so far.
Okay. All right. So again, when you think about this, right? You got your squad, you got your systems, and I forgot my other S. I did not take any notes. I've done this talk like so many times, but what is my other S? Oh well, I forgot, y'all. I've never done this before. But seriously, okay. So the last thing, this isn't an S, right? But this is something that we, as a lot of times as small businesses, whether it's in the music industry or not, you got to treat your business like a business, right? So what does that mean when you treat your business like a business? That means that you are showing up to things, right? That means that you do what you say that you are going to do, right? That means that you are going above and beyond to provide excellent customer service. You're doing things that other people won't do, right? To get noticed. Treat your business like a business. A lot of times when I work with business owners, a lot of times they are not serious, right? You want it to be easy. It's not. If you want something that's easy, quit trying to be an entrepreneur, because this is the hardest thing you may ever do. Owning a business is the hardest thing I've ever done. So it's not going to be easy. People aren't, so what if somebody doesn't support you? If your family don't support you, so what? Maybe they don't need what you're selling, right? And so you need to find the people who need and want what you're selling, and stop expecting or thinking that people have to support you, right? Learn how to market your business and market it to the people who want what it is that you're doing. I have hundreds of cousins and aunties and uncles, and maybe 10 of them are my clients. But I've worked with thousands of clients. I did not expect my family to make my business successful. And I think that's a lot of times what happens, with a lot of small business owners. You have this sense that the people who know you have to support you. It's nice if they do, but it's not their responsibility. It is your job to find your people, right? Find your people and market to your people. And your people are not necessarily the people who are related to you. They don't have to be, those people don't have to support you. And so that's real important, because I see it, I see the memes on social media. I see people having these conversations like, it's a shame when your family don't support you. No, it's not. They don't support you, so what? If you can't make a business without the people who know you to support you, you don't have a business. So find your tribe, right, and market to those people. We flowing tonight. We going with the flow. That's what was in my spirit. I hope that helps somebody today. That's all I have. Like, so
We have
again,
one other question, another question on the floor, Bernadette. It says, I'm a new artist and I struggle to find people to give you help. I've learned everything I know through reading. What's the first step in marketing yourself or your brand? Is social media the best route?
so I started my business at a different time. I started my business 19 and a half years ago. Social media was not a thing. And so we had to beat the pavement, actually, meeting people, right? So sometimes with businesses, it's a relationship thing. It's not always, it's sometimes who knows you, right? And if you're having a hard time getting people to help you, maybe it's an opportunity for you to try to help somebody else. And in helping somebody else, you may get the help that you need. And so social media is good, but everybody's on social media. Everybody is doing that. So what can you do differently? What can you do that somebody else isn't already doing? So social media is a place, but it's not the only place. One of the things that I've seen a lot of people do is they make the mistake of thinking that social media is the only source of marketing. And there are lots of other ways that you can market yourself beyond social media. And so build relationships with people who can open doors for you. So that might look like you may have to volunteer to help somebody. I know a lady that wanted me to mentor them. And so she offered to come work for me for free just so she could learn from me. And so are you willing to do that? Are you willing to volunteer and give up some time and understudy somebody to be able to? Because when you ask people to mentor you, you're asking them for their time and you're not offering anything in return. They may or may not want to do that. So one of the ways that you do it is make it a win-win. If you come to me and ask me, hey, can you help me? Can you help me and I can help you too? That's an excellent way to open the door and get somebody to help you, to mentor you, be able to show you the industry.
Absolutely. Absolutely. We definitely have several questions and I'm tracking them. I want to just chime in just very quickly with something that Bernadette said that is so key. One of the things and one of the strategies that you always want to use when you need assistance from someone is go to them and offer something, right? If you want to work with a Bernadette or a LaTanya or a Karen Mason, who's going to be joining us in just a few minutes, the thing that you do is you reach out and say, hey, this is who I am. This is what I do. I would love to do X for you, right? See, when you go offering something, then that puts the person in a different mindset because they're like, okay, well, let me think, okay, let's talk, right? Because then they're going to invite you to a conversation because they want to talk to you because right now you're offering something. Yeah. Now
you're not just asking.
Right. You want something. So you have to definitely be strategic as far as that goes. One other thing I want to also add as well, in addition to the squad, or as part of the squad, you also need to understand like, who is it? Like when Bernadette was talking about marketing, for example, it can't just be your cousin just because they can make, some hot graphics. Right. It really needs someone that understands the industry, but also understands your brand and who you are. Someone asked about the first step to marketing and branding yourself. Who are you? Right. What do you represent in the marketplace? Right. You're not just a singer or a writer or a producer. Right. It's got to go deeper than that because that comes a dime a dozen. So you have to really get clear on what you represent in the marketplace and be true to that. And you can do that through several different outlets. Certainly social media is one, but now during COVID, nobody else has anything to do with social media. So you have to, again, like Bernadette said, think about what is going to set you apart and walk in that lane. Okay, so we have a couple of other questions. And then we're going to we're going to pull in Karen, and we're going to also ask Miss Karen to give us some feedback on these same questions as well. Larry says, what is one of the best ways to create relationships virtually? I like virtual relationships. We created a virtual relationship.
Exactly. We've never met. LaTanya and I have been knowing each other for what, about 3, 4, maybe 5
longer
years?
than that, at least 5 years.
Yeah. And so one of the things that I think is key in creating a virtual relationship is authenticity, is just being who you are. Like when LaTanya and I met, it was just like, hey girl, we're running in some of the same circles. And we had a conversation. I learned more about her business. She learned more about my business. And we've been referring business to each other. And we have honestly never met in person. I'll know her because I know what she looked like, but we've never met. And I have so many relationships just like that. So it's really about being true, right? And being honest. A lot of people have ulterior motives, and they're not open and honest up front, right? Be honest when you're trying to build a relationship with somebody, right? And always give more than you ask. Like if somebody is trying to build a relationship with me, and as soon as it's like, hey, let's get together, and the first thing out of their mouth is, I sell this, or let me sell you that, then you just killed it, right? And so that's one of the things that I would say. LaTanya, you want to add anything to that?
Yeah, absolutely. And as far as Larry, what I would say as far as the best way to actually create that concrete relationship is just outreach, right? But when you reach out to the person, be clear about how you came to be in their inbox, right?
And why you there? Like, don't be wasting time with no, hey, how you doing?
Go straight to it, because people are busy. Like, one of the things that you could say if you meet someone here tonight is, hey, I saw you at the One Nation Under God conference, and I want X, right? I would love to speak with you about X, or how can I get on your calendar? Or, like I said, if you're trying to get something in return, you can make an offer that isn't salesy, right? And just say, I wanted to get a little bit more insight into X or Y or whatever. And then let that build from there. And I think that that's going to be the best route to, building those virtual relationships, is if you have a link to that particular person. I've built international relationships with people that I've never met, that I've been doing business with for 10 years, right? And these are people that, thank God they speak English. So, all of these things, Bernadette and I and other people that have really kind of grown exponentially, we've been doing this virtual relationship building for many, many years.
Yeah, long before the pandemic.
Because of COVID.
Right, long before the pandemic.
Right. And so I think that, yes, I think that it's definitely doable. But my advice would be just start with a DM, a very short DM that says, this is who I am, very short, this is how I know you, and this is what I would like to do, whether it's get on a call, speak with you about X. Go ahead and let them know what you want up front, so that you guys can go from there. All right. One last question, and then we're going to bring in Miss Karen. Is going to conferences a good idea?
Absolutely. Yeah, absolutely. Not only is it a good idea because you get an opportunity to get new information, you're going to always learn something. So one of the things that I would say to you is never think that you already know everything. And, I don't need that conference because I already know everything. I've been in business for 19 and a half years. I still go to conferences for startup businesses because I always learn something. Even if I learn a new way to be able to service my clients or a new way to help somebody. So going to conferences is a way to get new information. It is also a way to meet new people. So there's a conference that I attend for my industry, and I met a lady the first time I attended this conference was probably about 7 or 8 years ago. I met this lady that she lives in a whole nother state. We just kind of connected at the conference, and I swear every single year, and there's 3,000 people that come to this conference every year, which we didn't have it because of COVID, but every single year we don't have each other's phone numbers, anything. We always find each other at this event. And so it's also a way to meet people, right? And connect with people, get new energy, new ideas, get pumped up about what it is that you're doing. Sometimes if you are not constantly associating with people who are doing what you do, you might get a little down on yourself or forget that you forget how awesome you are. Sometimes we do that, right? And so going to conferences is also a way to remind us of those things.
Awesome. Awesome. Thank you so much, Bernadette, for your time, for your expertise. You know, conferences are great. Again, you get lots of information, you get to network. And don't forget that tool I told you guys about. That's also a way to say, I saw you at the so-and-so conference, right? And then that is your lead in, that is your connection. So it's definitely a great tool. Thank you so much, Bernadette. Do you have any last or parting words? I know you're going to be back for the open question Q&A forum, but do you have any parting words before we let you go?
So don't be afraid to ask questions. Don't be afraid of what you don't know, because the question that you have, the question that you think is a dumb question, is a question that somebody else wants to ask too. So don't be afraid to ask questions.
I love it. And how can the attendees and the people that are going to be watching later on the replay, how can they connect with you?
So my company is bythebookaccounting.com. So you can visit my website at bythebookaccounting.com. My personally branded website is trustbernadette.com.
All right. All right. Thank you so much, Bernadette. We know that you're going to be back for the open Q&A. We are going to continue to move through the program. Thank you so much. For those of you that are viewers, you are listeners, I want you guys to make the commitment. Number one, if you are on Facebook, I want you to share this feed. I want you to share this feed. I want you to tag people in the comments so that they may join this feed. If you are on YouTube, I want you to make sure that you are sharing that feed as well, because you want to be able to ask people and invite people, because they need to be here live so that they can get their questions answered. You can also drop questions in the comments that might not be directly on point with what the speaker is talking about. There's a wealth of knowledge from the entire panel and even the organizers to get your questions answered. So now is the time. Make sure that you are dropping those things in the comments. So without further ado, I want to bring up Miss Karen Marie Mason. She is here. We are excited and grateful to have her. Hi.
Hi, greetings. How are you?
I am great. How are you?
I love the way that you present. I love the clarity. I love the force and the spirit. So I'm grateful to be here.
Awesome. Thank you so much. So I am going to get out of your way.
Okay.
And I am going to allow you to introduce yourself, because I believe that no one can do it quite like you.
Okay. All right. Well, first of all, I want to thank Brian and the work he has done to put this together, Brian and his family. I want to thank Mr. Johnston and his family, because oftentimes you'll see one person or you'll see two people, but you never really see the force that is behind them, that is making it happen and is their driving force. So I want to thank them and the team that we don't see and may never see, right, for the work that they've done to bring this conference to fruition. Again, Latanya, I want to thank you and your spirit. And I definitely want to thank Bernadette. I am so grateful that I caught some of her presentation. So on point. While in many ways I may be a practitioner, a teacher of sorts in the music business, a former executive in the music business, I am forever a student. I am forever having my pen and paper out. And I have never, like Bernadette mentioned, is very important that you don't get to the point where you think you know it, where you think, oh, I got this, I don't need that. Listen here, I always need something. There's always something out there for me. there's always something to learn. And so I am so grateful for that. My name is Karen Marie Mason. I've been in the industry for over 20, maybe 30 years. I don't know. You stop counting after a while. I started actually in college on college radio at Syracuse University. Once I started doing radio, I realized I wanted to promote shows, and I started promoting shows on campus, promoting parties, that kind of thing. And then I realized from there that I wanted to be in the music and the entertainment business. And so I graduated from Syracuse. I started my career at Epic Records at a time when it was a different music business back then. But the projects that came that I was a part of was Luther Vandross, Michael Jackson, Man in the Mirror, Tina Marie, Alexander O'Neal, Chris Jasper, Sade. I was literally in heaven. Okay. And I went from there to Columbia Records, became a marketing coordinator, then became a product manager, then became director of marketing. And Rough House Label was my main brand that I worked with. Though I worked with other artists as well, that was sort of my brand that was given to me. And it was given to me because I was new on the block and no one believed in what would happen eventually with Criss Cross, with Fugees, with Cypress Hill, etc. And I went from there over to Elektra under Sylvia Rhone as head of marketing over there for a number of years, working with everyone from Gerald Levert to In Vogue to Cam to Ziggy Marley, Missy. I mean, I've forgotten more than I could actually remember and recite to you, because that was then. It was great, had a great run, but it does not sum up my life. So it's not like I have all of that on the tip of my tongue, but just know that I was running my shit and I was doing things to the best of my abilities at all times to represent my race and to represent the artists that I was working with. I left there, moved to Atlanta, and was really a homeschooling mom until Kirk Burroughs, who at the time had left Bad Boy and had started managing Mary J. Blige, and asked me to do her marketing. And I was resistant at first because I had taken on a whole different kind of vibration and persona and homeschooling and, being mommy. But I decided I would do it. So for 3 years, Mary J. Blige was my only client, and it was fantastic. It allowed me to stay home, homeschool my daughter, and still do what I love as her marketing. As the years went by, I became very much involved in the community, promoting lectures with Dick Gregory and Dr. Asa Hilliard, a lot about history and culture and metaphysics, right? And then I came back to management again. I manage a really highly sought after painter and an influencer right now, and maybe exploring into other things. But I'm comfortable where I am. And part of that is along the lines, I was diagnosed with breast cancer. And in between that, I worked for Tyler Perry. I was a location scout and music supervisor. But what I found when I was diagnosed with breast cancer is that I needed to do things a little bit differently. And I needed to create, because I had the power, as you have the power, to create the life that I wanted. All right. And that's what I've been doing. I have created the life that I wanted, not something that I have to do. I don't have to go to a job every day that I don't like, though I've never really had a job that I didn't like. However, sometimes jobs can be stressful, right? And so we also have to watch that and manage that. We do not want to be in a situation where you got to be stressed every day. You do not want to get up and go someplace where you don't want to go every day. All right. Because ultimately it'll make you sick. So that's my long story short. And I'm so grateful to be here. I'm so grateful for the amazing conference that has been put together and all of the amazing people behind the scenes. As I was thinking about what I wanted to share with you today, people used to me speaking about marketing and monetizing, your creative output and all of that. But I'm going to go in a little different direction today. One of the themes was, in spite of it all, build strong. And what I did was I focused on that word build, because that's what we're trying to do. We're trying to build empires here. We're trying to build families. We're trying to build music careers. We're building. So I focused on that, BUILD. And I thought that I would present some thoughts that came to mind as I look at that word. But before I get into it, I wanted to let you know that you're amazing. I'm amazing. That you can't get into anything, build anything, unless you know that you're the shit. Unless you know that you're amazing. That doesn't mean you don't have anything to learn. That doesn't mean you don't have to study. But at the foundation of it, you're amazing, and you should know that. So as we look at the word build, I'm going to take each letter, BUILD. And I'll start with build. And for me, build, the B represents the basics. Listen, there's enough information out here on the internet, on Google, at these conferences, that you should know the basics. You should know how to register your songs. You should know to sign up with a PRO. You should know that you should be a part of Sound Exchange. This is basic 101 information that even if you don't do it yourself and you get someone to do it for you, you should know this. We don't have any excuse not to know this anymore. It's just way too much information out there. You should know about your income streams. You should know about mechanical rights. You should know where the coins are buried so that you can make sure you're getting your coins. You should have a basic understanding of this business of music. Now, it may not be a high level understanding. That's where you build your team and they come in and give you that high level. But on a very basic level, these are things that you should know. Can't be out here playing. You should know and understand what your brand is. Who are you? Who's your audience? What are your values? You should be clear on these things. You should be sitting down thinking about what's important to you. What is it about you that makes you so unique and so different? What is it about your music, your production, your songwriting that separates you from other people? You know, oftentimes, you might ask an artist, oh, I'm just dope. What does that mean? It means nothing. Be clear on what makes you dope. Be able to articulate that if someone asked. Be able to embody it. So they may not even have to ask. They just feel the spirit of it. But also they feel the spirit of it when you're not clear, when you're not able to articulate who you are and what you do, when you're not able to articulate what your brand is about. These are part of the basics. That's the B. You underestimate. Don't underestimate your power. Don't underestimate yourself. Don't underestimate what you can do. I was a location scout here for quite some time here in Atlanta. I started doing music videos, and my first music video was T.I. And I had never done location scouting, but I figured, I was the head of a marketing department. I could figure this out, right? But I never did that side of it. The video commissioner was the one who sort of dealt with the location scouts and all of that, of all the videos that were part of my, catalog of artists that I worked with. So at this first video, everything went wrong. Everything that you could imagine to go wrong went wrong. Everybody's like, Karen. Hot mess. But I learned that day what was never going to happen again. I didn't underestimate myself. Even though I made errors, I used those errors as teaching moments to make sure that those things never happened again and became one of the top location scouts in Atlanta. Don't underestimate yourself. When I started doing the Rough House brand, they said, give it to Karen. She's the new kid on the block. You know, Def Jam was really the label that Columbia was interested in. Rough House was just like, you know, stepchild kind of vibe. So because I just became a product manager, they gave me that project. No one really believed in it, but I did. Because I know my power, because I wasn't going to underestimate myself, and built Rough House into a $1 zillion business with Cypress Hill, with the Fugees, with Criss Cross, and so many more. Take everything as a teachable moment. The way I look at it, in order for it to go right, it would have had to go wrong. So when I see errors that I've made or others that have been made, I celebrate those errors. We're not going to get it right. How are you going to learn if you just get everything right all the time? What's there to learn then? We have to make errors so that we can correct them and ascend. Everything is for your good. So even the errors are for your good. And if you have the confidence, if you have the basics that I just discussed, then you won't underestimate yourself. You won't underestimate your talent. You're dope. You're amazing. Don't underestimate yourself. Cease from the comparisons, comparing yourself to Tom, Dick, and Harry. I have a little garden in the back. And what I notice is that every flower opens in its own time. They don't all open at the same time. Some open later, some are opening now, some half open and they pause. I mean, every flower, people are like that. We're all gonna bloom in our own time. So don't underestimate yourself. Don't rush the process. If you believe that it's going to happen, I guarantee you it's going to happen. And I can give you 1,000,000 examples of that. When I was at Epic, and I was in promotions, right? I was the assistant to the head of R&B promotions at the time. Great relationship, great situation for me. Just a beautiful opening to my life in the major music industry. And after I got to kind of got a little routine together and got the swing of things, I realized that where I really wanted to be was in marketing. So I set the intention that I would be here in promotions, learn everything that I was to learn, be a badass assistant, all right? He didn't have to think about coffee. I had it on the table, all right? So I didn't just do the fancy stuff. I did everything because I had an intention. And almost a year to the date, I was interviewed first as a marketing coordinator for Columbia in 1 year because I set the intention. I'm not any more special than you are. I'm not any more different than you are. I am just amazing as you are. And I set my intentions. Practice your craft. You know, some people, oh, I made it. That's it. You know, if you study any of like some of the other folks, anyone from Tina Marie to Bob Marley to James Brown, these folks rehearsed every day. They wasn't out here playing. They rehearsed when they didn't have nothing to rehearse for. They practiced when they didn't have anything to practice for. Turn off that TV and rehearse and write and play your instrument. Continue to perfect your craft. You have no idea when your flower is going to open. But if you follow the basics and you don't underestimate yourself, it will open in its time. So that's be you and build. The I is intuition. Use it. Oftentimes people say, well, how'd you do this? And how did you market them? And how did you, You know, of course, there are skills you can learn about marketing and the 4 Ps or 5 Ps and all of that. But a lot of my work has always been intuition. Hone your intuition skills. Some people ask, how do you build a team and you don't get like bad-minded people or whatever? Your intuition should tell you.
Mm-hmm.
Hone that skill. Don't judge it. Don't be like, oh, I woulda, coulda, shoulda. The other day, something told me to bring the umbrella. I was like, it's sunny outside. I don't need no umbrella. Left the umbrella. Well, it wasn't sunny in about 3-4 hours. Your intuition is always talking to you. But in order to hone it, you got to listen. The more you listen to it, the more it works. The more it guides you. Now, I don't want to sound crazy to you, but intuition told me to put on this shirt. Intuition told me what to eat. Because you know, when you follow your belly and not your intuition, you eat something that you have no business eating. Come on now. But you follow your intuition, it will be fulfilling no matter what it is that you're eating. So make your intuition work for you. Rely on it to direct you, to tell you, to show you. Allow your intuition to make those easy and difficult decisions for you. I talked to the Holy Spirit. I said, well, what should I do now? Which way should I go? You know how you're driving home and something tell you to go right and you go left? You end up going right and then there's some crazy roadblock up right. Practice your intuition on every level and you'll find that it will work for you on every level. Your career, your family life, your social life. Because if it was up to me making all these decisions, I'm not always capable of making the right decisions. But the Holy Spirit is never wrong. That's what I call my intuition. But it might be something different for you. Whatever it is for you, use it. That's my I, B-U-I. Let's go to L. L is love. Put love first in all things. Every encounter. There's a course that I've taken for a number of years called A Course in Miracles. And one of the things that it says in there is that every encounter is a holy encounter. Every single encounter. Not just the ones that make you feel good, like, oh, we connect. Oh, yes, we're going to do business. Let's produce, let's write. Even the ones that don't seem that way. Every encounter is a holy encounter. And when you look at it like that, you will get value from every encounter. Because there's nothing out here that doesn't give value. You know, God don't have us out here just willy-nilly. Everything is a teachable moment. Everything is to add value to our life. The good, the bad, the indifferent. And honestly, if everything was just going just so beautiful, then there would be nothing to learn. So even the challenges that we have with people are holy encounters. Some of you might have gotten in a studio and clashing with the producer and clashing. Some of the best songs come out of that. Let it. If you let it. And lastly, what time is it? How am I doing? Okay, so I'm right.
You're good.
Okay. Lastly, in the word build is deliver. Deliver the very best that you have at all times. Don't be coming out here to play. Don't be coming out here to half-ass anything. Be your best self. You know, there's a saying, how you do one thing is how you do everything. Your whole life is a mess, and yet you're going to be a big superstar in gospel or whatever genre. No, it's going to get messy at some point. Because how you do one thing is how you do everything. So cultivate a spirit of delivering the best that you have to offer in everything that you do. No matter what it is. Cleaning, washing the dishes. I remember one time I looked at a dish, it was like, it was dirty. It wasn't dirty, but I mean, it was washed, but it was still had some, like, where was your mind, Karen, when you were washing the dishes? You weren't here. You weren't present. And that same lack of being present that leaves flaws and errors will show up in everything else that you do. So be about delivering the very best of yourself to others at all times. BUILD. Basics, understand the basics. Don't underestimate yourself. Follow your intuition. Let love be your guide. And deliver the best that you have no matter what. I remember when I was working with Mary J. Blige, and this was at the time when her image was transitioning to a more glamorous MJB. And we got her the Mac deal. We got her, really, I think it was one of the first times that an artist appeared on a hair care box. It was Dark and Lovely hair color. But many people said that we couldn't do that because Mary was too rough and tough, and the brands wouldn't really necessarily want to work with her, or whatever they were saying. It didn't matter what they were saying. I'm gonna be honest with you. I don't care what they were saying. Because I knew. Because I didn't underestimate myself. Because I knew what Mary could bring to the table. So I moved with that kind of confidence to go get those deals. And that's what we all have to do. We've got to know what we know. And we've got to see it when no one else sees it. And then we've got to go for it. So I hope that these few words has helped in some way to help us build and to move from point A to point B. Thank you.
Wow, thank you so much, Karen. Listen, if the people that are watching, if they were not inspired and it did not help them, it helped me.
Okay.
So at least it helped one person. I appreciate you. I appreciate what what you've shared, and I think that across industries, we all need to understand all of the principles that you just shared with us. I think in today's society, and probably really across the board, right?
Yes.
We have seen almost a requirement that everybody come together and do one thing, be one way, assimilate, do this and do that. But I have a different question. This is my own personal question that I wanted to ask you. And this question is inspired by the versus battle that I saw between Earth, Wind, and Fire and the Isley Brothers.
Mm-hmm.
Nothing keeps me up that late, right? But I'm telling you, I went back to when I was a little girl listening to records, right?
Yes.
And you have to put the little penny on top to make sure that the record didn't skip. So that just kind of lets you know when I grew up. But one of the things that I heard during that entire time was real music.
Yes.
Right? Like I was just like, where did this go? And I'm saying that sort of along with what you were saying about really just understanding your craft and being willing to be different. Because I think artists today, they aren't necessarily willing to go that route with live instruments and things like that. Give us your take on what are some things that artists could do in general, and I know we're talking about music, and I just threw that in as an example.
Yes.
What are some things that artists can do now that not only will allow them to stand out, but could give them the type of longevity that the Isley Brothers have, or, you know, Earth, Wind, and Fire? What's some advice that you could give the group?
The first thing I'll say that I feel like anyone coming up in any industry, but particularly in this music business, that when you start out as an artist, there is a certain level of imitation, right? There is a certain level of trying to duplicate what you see out there, what you like. So you actually may start out trying to assimilate, for lack of a better word, trying to sort of find your way. But I guarantee you, the more that you practice your craft, the more that you study your craft, there is what will emerge out of it is something that is uniquely you if you let it. One. Secondly, I also will say that many of you will do things at home and practice at home, but you'll say to yourself, man, don't nobody want to hear that. They just want to hear this. Man, don't nobody gonna relate to that. This is what they want. This is what the people want. And I say to you, the very thing that you are rejecting because you think that the people will not want is the very thing that makes you unique, is the very thing that you can call your own, is the very thing that you can mold and craft for longevity in this business. So don't underestimate those little things that you think that nobody wants to hear. Those little things that you think is just, man, they ain't trying to hear that. They want to hear this. Because if that's what fills you with joy and that's what makes you you, then hone that. Because now you're making yourself completely separate and different and apart from everything else out there. And don't be afraid. You know, don't be afraid. When I started in this business, my daughter's baby daddy, he's passed away now, but I grew up in Rastafari. So I had my head wrap, I wore long skirts. This is in the 80s before it became trendy to do those things. If you looked at me, you would say I didn't fit in. Because technically I kind of didn't. I didn't really look like many of my coworkers. I didn't really hang out like my coworkers. I like to go home. I like to cook my dinner. I just didn't do those things. But it didn't stop me. And why? One, because I studied my craft and I was clear on what I was doing and I was confident and I would not underestimate myself. And that's what was noticed outside of how I looked or how I dressed. Later on, people would say, man, was that part of marketing? Because you just were so different than everybody else. No, it wasn't part of marketing. I was being who I was at that time. So don't be afraid to be who you are. Don't have one personality in the house and you buck wild, or vice versa. It gets confusing in your own spirit when you can't just be. But when you are allowed to let yourself be and you put away the fear of being, you'll flourish, you'll bloom, you'll find your way, and you'll be around a long time because you're being yourself. It's hard to be out here being somebody else. It's a lot of work. That shit is stressful. So find out who you are. Find the you in you and master that one. It's not going to look like everybody else. It's not going to sound like everybody else. They're not going to play like everybody else. And that's a good thing.
I love it. I love it. The biggest thing I love about you is that, listen, it's straight no chaser. Like if you can't get it, if they can't pick up what you're putting down, it ain't gonna happen for them.
Well, listen, Latanya, it take one to know one, because I'm listening to you. I'm like, okay, it definitely take one to know one. All right, so I already know you don't play. Okay. You ain't out here fooling around with nothing. You serious about what you do. You're not underestimating yourself. You know your power. And I see that. I feel that. See, and that's, you want to know how you stand out? Look at LaTanya. Listen to her. Not just the words, but the spirit behind the words. That part. That's how you stand out.
I feel like I want to pass the collection plate, Karen. I just feel like it's one of them moments where, you know, we ask people to come to the, you know, come to the altar or something. Like we gotta get them now, right? While they're in. But I appreciate that more than you know those words. You know, definitely coming from someone like you that has helped to build greatness, right? I received that in my heart. I received that in my spirit. I thank you. Right before we pull in Bernadette for the open Q&A, is there any, you know, is there a last thing for now that you want to leave, you know, as we're transitioning over to just open Q&A with Bernadette as well?
You know, one of the things my grandfather used to always say is find the you in you. You know, because you could build a whole persona of being somebody else. Your whole life, your marriage, your family, you somebody else. Right? Take the time to find the you in you. Which also means there's some trial and error because you're trying to figure out who am I? But you don't want to go through your life and not know who you are. Some people go through their whole life being somebody else. So if you're talking about making a living and a career and being successful in this business, you're going to have to find the you in you, which means that you're going to have to peel off all of these other things that you've created around you. Peel, all of that comes off. And who am I? Because once you get that, you're good. Trust me. You're good. You're in your own lane. You ain't got to be... You don't have to do that because you have found the essence of who you are and why you're here. You know, God don't put you here all random. He don't put you here to be random. He puts you here to be his, her, they reflection, their reflection. And their reflection is greatness. Greatness. So we ain't out here to dilly-dally. We're not dilly-dallying. This is serious. Find out who you are. Discover who you are. Peel off the things that just no longer work for you or don't represent where you are now. And watch the heavens open up. They will open up for you. Your intuition will get sharper. Your confidence will get greater. Just waiting for you. It's really your choice. It's not no outside forces keeping me down, the white man, all this other stuff. Stop it. Stop it. You are amazing. Be it. Find it in you and be it and live it. So that's what I would say to that.
I love it. I love it. I'm gonna call you after this. Like, you ain't getting rid of me. Like, we are totally friends. I have to share something with you. With something you just said, we'll talk offline. Yes. So we are going to pull back in Miss Bernadette, the fiery fraud examiner herself, in here. And so for those of you that are listening, I want to encourage you to drop your questions in the comments. I know that you guys have been in awe of these two ladies, but I want to just really impress upon you how important it is to take this opportunity right now to get your questions answered. These are not people with calendars that you can just get on their books just because you came to this conference. And that is really true. And this is a great opportunity. I remember years ago, just a really quick story. I was a young lawyer. I think I may have been out of law school just a couple of years, and a friend of mine was working for the Johnny Cochran firm. He was coming. This was back when he was first doing his franchises. And she said, you gotta come because you get to meet Johnny. I was like, am I meeting Johnny or are we gonna be girl way in the back where, you know, we just wave? And she was like, no, you're gonna be my plus one. You get to meet Johnny. So, you know, it didn't matter. I was gonna meet Johnny. But
Right.
you know, when you met Johnny, you got one question. Right? It wasn't like this where you know it was a lot. You got one time, one question. And the one thing I asked him, I said, you know, it's so many lawyers out here. I was like, you know, I work for the government, but you know, I really want to do like other things. Like, how did you do it? What do you suggest when everybody's doing, you know, it's so many lawyers, this and that. He said, you know, yeah, it may be a lot of lawyers, but how many lawyers' names do you know? He said, you know why there are some names that you know? Because they are the best and the best and the best. So what you do, young lady, is you be the best of the best of the best. So when people are looking for a lawyer who does what you do, your name is one of those names that people will talk about and they will tell people. And that stuck with me and it stuck with me forever. And every opportunity I get to tell that, I do. Because that's exactly what you're talking about. If you focus on being the best of the best of the best, what you do in your lane, you don't have to worry about these other things.
Absolutely. You know what? One of the things that I wanted to also mention too, because Bernadette had talked about this in terms of networking. You know, so you go to these conferences and someone may call you and let's say you don't respond right away. And then you don't hear from them again. I'm like, well, you ain't really want to talk to me. You know what I'm saying? Like if you give up that quick, well, then you ain't had no business calling in the first place. Because me, if I'm trying to reach you, oh, I'm going to be patient. You may not answer this month, but you might answer next month. So I'm not going to just cut it off, man. She ain't called me back or she didn't respond to my message. What? Like, how badly do you want this?
Exactly.
They didn't call you back and so you just moved on? Like, man, nah, that's not how that works. That's not how that works. You got to be patient. You got to be diligent. You got to act like you really want it. Otherwise, you fake it and you just want to, you know, I know this, I know that. I got this number in my Rolodex. We not about that life. You really want something, wait for that shit.
I love it. I love it. Yeah. So there's a question on the floor that says, what is the best strategy on monetizing your music?
I mean, there's not a best strategy. What you want to do is get all your coins. You want to get all your coins, right? So Spotify is only paying pennies. You want those pennies. You definitely want a sound exchange. You definitely want to sign up with a PRO, BMI, ASCAP, or CSAC. You definitely want, I don't know if it's the MLC or Harry Fox, whoever, to get your mechanicals. You definitely, Mr. Johnson talks about your neighboring rights to make sure your international performance rights are coming to you. You definitely want to make sure you get all your YouTube royalties because you get publishing from YouTube. You get mechanicals from YouTube. You get mechanicals from Spotify. So you don't just get it based on the play. There's other hidden little monies that are up in there, which is why I talked about the basics. So there's no one avenue. The way to really garner, and Bernadette can speak to this, you got to have multiple streams going at the same time. One may be a penny, one may be 50, one may be a couple thousand, but that's your money. Get your coins. There's no one way. Don't leave any money on the table. They got all of these black boxes with millions of dollars in it of unclaimed money. So all of them pennies then added up to millions that they decide they're going to keep because in their charter, they got rules like if you don't respond in a certain amount of time, blah, 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 they get to keep the money and buy a new yacht. I'm not financing anybody else's yacht. I want all my pennies, every single one of them. So there's not just one way. There are multiple ways. Explore them all and get all your coins.
Yep.
Bernadette, did you have anything you wanted to add to that?
Listen, I can't come behind this sister because
I feel the same way about you.
No, I agree. I think that you have to think about, instead of thinking of the best strategy, you need to think of all the strategies.
Right.
What are all the ways that I can monetize my music? And all those things that she listed and some. Is
That's
there a
right.
way that I can monetize it with merchandise? Can I
Right.
monetize it with services? Can I monetize? You know, you want to look for not the best strategy, but what are all the strategies, all the ways. And she just gave you a whole bunch
Yeah.
of them.
Can I do NFTs? Can I create a class around my songwriting and automate it and get money in my PayPal when I'm sleeping? Can I offer guitar lessons? I mean, like, look at the big picture, like Bernadette said. There are a bazillion ways to monetize. You want to get the basics down, but then you want to add on. Just add on.
Absolutely. Another user says, ladies, have you ever worked with gospel artists?
I don't know that I have. Not directly, no. Mm-mm.
No,
Yeah, me either.
But here's the thing. Let me say
I don't
this.
think that matters.
That's exactly what I was gonna say. Like, the approach to it is not different because it's Mary or because it's Gerald Levert or whomever, or, you know, it doesn't matter. It's about really understanding the product and the brand and how to position it in the marketplace. So I don't see any difference in terms of, you know, the genre per se.
Yeah, and you know, I'll just throw this in because I think this happens oftentimes. I mean, and I'm sure it would be no different. Your mindset needs to be about understanding that there's a dollar value to, you know, you singing, right? So
Yeah.
just because you're singing about Jesus, God, Holy Spirit, you know, catching the Holy Ghost, whatever, that doesn't mean that you can't get these coins that Miss Aaron is dropping down. So,
Yes.
you know, yeah, I would say as far as gospel artists, you know, don't let nobody tell you that you shouldn't be getting paid because God gave you, you know, God gave you this. God gave it to all of us. The trust
Yeah.
that gets an invoice connected to this knowledge that, you know, that we dropping. And so I think that's really what I would say as far as the gospel artists. Understand that, you know, when God gives you something, you know, it's like the talent. You know, if you know, y'all Bible thumpers, y'all know you read the story of the talent. What happened to the person that buried his?
That's right.
He didn't make it. Like he was
That's right.
gone. He didn't live no more. So you got
Right.
to think about that.
Yes.
So there's another question. It says, "Are you?" So this, I don't know who this is for. It says, "Are you available for private consultations? I have a modest budget and would definitely be willing to pay for your time."
Yep. So we don't know who that person is referring
Well,
to.
both of y'all speak to that. Y'all do private consultation and got a modest budget. I don't know what modest is.
Well, you know what I love about that question is that he putting his coins on the table. Because so many times people call you, "Can I pick your brain?" What? Ooh. You know what I'm saying? No, you can't pick my brain. Right?
This
Literally.
brain picking tonight. Like this the brain picking tonight. That's why you need to drop your comments and your questions in the comments.
I mean,
It's real.
honestly, that's right. And honestly, I mean, I talk to just about anybody, but there's that special person who realizes your value and says, "I do want to talk to you and I want to pay you for that because I value what you bring to the table."
Mm-hmm.
And that's how we should be looking at it. You know, I'm not interested in lunch, honestly. I'm, you know, people, I'll buy you lunch.
I could buy my own lunch.
You know, so, and Bernadette said this earlier, you know, what helps is to know what do you bring to the table? You know, what is it that you're offering? Or Latanya also mentioned it. What is it that you can help with? How can we help each other? Can't just take and never give. You know, we got universal laws here that we operate under. And if you're not getting, maybe you're not giving.
Mm-hmm. That's it right there. You have to give to get.
You got to give to get.
Absolutely. Another question: how important is advertising and marketing for artists?
That's important for all businesses.
Mm-hmm.
It's important for all businesses. That's, you know, one of the things that I said is understand any kind of business that you're in, you have to learn how to market. You have to learn who wants what you have, who's going to pay for what you have, and how do you reach those people. So whether you're an artist or you selling lollipops, you got to learn how to market.
That's right. That's right.
And you
This
gotta
thing don't
understand how
happen
to
just
talk to them.
automatic. It's not just automatic. You got to do the work. You know, and oftentimes, you know, we think that the creation of the music is the work. That's part of the work.
Right.
There's another part.
That's the easy part. That's the fun part, right? The rest of it, the business part, and that's what this conference is about, is talking about the business part. Because the music, that's the stuff that comes from your heart. That's the stuff that you can wake up in the middle of the night and do in your sleep. That's the easy part of what you do. The hard part of business is all the other stuff. And there are so many other things that have to be done too. So
yes, indeed.
Awesome. Another question. What are the best ways to collaborate with artists, and what should I expect? This is going to be our last question, guys.
The best way to collaborate with artists. I'm not exactly sure what they're saying. I mean,
Ms. Karen, let's come back to the end with that question. Yeah, we're going to come back at the end of the program and answer that question right there.
Okay.
I want to move on to the next section, which is actually our giveaways, and then we'll bring our speakers back on towards the end.
Okay.
I really appreciate you, Ms. Karen. I know we talked yesterday.
Yeah.
I knew it. Hey, I call my spirit the ghost. I got that ghost. So you see me walking down the street saying ghost and be doing some funny stuff that y'all wouldn't do.
That's right.
I got that ghost, you know. But I do want to say this. Come on, man. I want to say this. The one essential thing that we need in this time is love.
Yes.
Love helped me find my ghost. You know, it always said to give you the gift of the spirit. It had to start with love. But one thing I didn't know, I started with love. I got all the way to self-control, but then I had to realize that it had to end with love too.
Yes.
And when you can learn to love not just your brother, not just your sister, not just everybody around you, not people who hate you, who hurt you, who hindered you, who brought you down, who held you down, not even just yourself.
Mm-hmm.
See, the key is not loving everybody differently. It's loving everybody the same. It's just how you love them.
Preach. Absolutely. Absolutely.
What I've learned is that love is the key to unlock every part of me. What I did when I was 12 and 13 years old, that's who I am today. Before I went through this system that kind of told me where I was going and what I was going to do, you know, I wanted to be a super producer. I wanted to be a NBA player, a basketball player. And guess what? I feel like tomorrow I'm going to be that. I'm still going to be there. I'll still hold on to the things that I know are in my heart because I didn't put them there. My desires did not come from me. They came who made me, who created me in love. He created me in love. So if I'm not operating in love, let me back up. You will never be who you are if you don't love.
Yes.
You'll never be that. See, love is the byproduct of nothing other than love itself. And when you have love, and love equals everything, man. I'm trying to tell you, but we want to fight and hate and who's this and who's that. Look, unity, unifying. You know, they talk about kindred spirits. They talk about different things that bring people together. Look, God is love. Yeah. And I said, I want to be like God, so I'm going to be love too.
Yeah.
You know, so each and every one of you that are here tonight, I want to tell you, if I haven't seen your face, kiss your face or anything, I love you. When you see me, know that this man loves me. You know he do. I mean, I'm not, you know, for a long time I was in my shell. Karen, I've been knowing who I was. I just told people too quick. You know, I got into the point where I was in that microwave oven and I was trying to come out at one time. So when she says practice, look, I was faking it till I made it. You hear me? I was doing everything every day. I was in the office. I'm at 7 o'clock in the morning, half sleep, waiting to get up, getting myself up. Hey, I got an important client today. I'm going to meet with Tyler Perry. Bump it today. I got to be ready every day. I did this for 20 years. I don't know how many more years I got to do it before me and Tyler Perry face to face, but guess what? I believe it.
That's right.
I believe it.
Right. Yes.
You know, matter of fact, I'm gonna call his office tomorrow and see if he's available for lunch. You know what I'm saying? I'm like that, and that's what love will do to you. Love will take you to do things that you wouldn't do on your own.
That's right.
Like me talking to you right now, this is love talking to you.
Yes.
From one of the most sentimental places.
Yes.
But what I will say to you is this: I got to get going. My man in the back is telling me to go. But Larry Robinson, I love you. He told me, he said right before the show, I'm gonna see you with donation. Gospel updates, www.gospelupdates.com. I got 3 more gifts, 3 more to give away. I'm finna give them away right now. I see you. Patricia Tasker, send me an email. I got a gift pack for you. Tracy Linga, send me an email. onenationundergodinc.gmail@gmail.com. Send me an email. Crystal Chanel, send me an email. Those are our 3 winners. What I'm gonna do is I'm gonna continue on with the program. Now we're at a part of the show where we get to hear from an artist. We get to hear her thoughts, her opinions about one thing. In spite of it all, build strong. So without further ado, I will introduce our featured artist for this evening. Actually, One Nation Under God Records artist. Hey, we got something to tell you later. But without further ado, Miss Queso. Oh, no sound. Hey. No, that was the wrong one. It's actually the featured artist for the 2021 Business of Music Conference kickoff. Today, get ready for, hey Kay, you ready?
Got a strong connection, kind of like reflection. If I'm being honest, you make me lose direction. Such a strong connection, a one-time insurrection.
Hey Kay,
Stop.
are you ready?
Yeah.
Who is Queso?
Wow, that is a great question. I believe at the core, Queso is just an around the way girl who grew up on the south side of Chicago, and music became something that was an outlet for me. It allowed me to deal with my emotions. It gave me a lot of joy. And I believe that's when Queso was birthed, when I was sitting on the porch writing songs and forcing my friends to sing harmony. So Queso is that girl, and it's just a manifestation of those life experience into words and melodies.
Man, that was such an awesome explanation of who you are. So my next question is actually going to be about your inspirations and what has caused you to be. Why do you make the music that you make, and even who has inspired you to make the music that you make?
I believe that I make the music that I make because my calling is to heal. My music is specifically geared towards matters of the heart, towards saving the soul. It is meant to inspire. And my inspirations come from a lot of different things. You know, I grew up, as I stated, on the south side of Chicago. So I saw a lot of hurt. I saw a lot of chaos and destruction, and those things that I believe that my music speaks to, as far as any type of negative feelings that may come from that, to help people get through those hard times.
Wow, that was such an explanation about what actually inspired you and influences you. My next question is just about you. Tell us, please, what makes you unique from other artists? What makes you stand out?
Wow. You know, it's so hard in this industry, especially now with connected to it. There's a relatability that they can attach to that goes to their heart. And as my vocal coach used to always say, what comes from the heart touches the heart. And I believe that's what sets my music apart.
Certainly have enjoyed you today in your studio with K Soul. We have one more question I'm sure that your audience would love to hear. And that's really nothing more than add it all up together. Show us how it all comes to right now, 2021, the Business of Music Conference. What have you done to stay here?
Man, that's a loaded question. You know, being an independent artist takes some serious time, dedication, sacrifice. You know, you spend a lot of time in the studio, you spend a lot of time writing, singing, rapping, whatever your craft is, to hone your craft. And you sacrifice a lot. You know, maybe instead of going out or buying something new, you have to use that money to pay for studio time or video or new promo shots. So it's really been a consistent grind. You have to stay hungry. You know, I've had to stay hungry. I've had to continue to just go out there and put myself out there, continue to make music. And you have to believe in yourself, because you will get plenty of no's, because I've certainly gotten tons of no's, but you have to keep pushing past. I always tell myself that whatever the no is, that means there's a greater yes. And I just have to keep moving. And I just think about, if I would not have started, if I would have allowed people who said I couldn't or wouldn't tell me that and believe that, then I wouldn't be here. So to anybody who's watching, who's tuning into this, keep pushing forward. You know, just keep going every day. Do something towards your craft, no matter what it is. Send an email, take a picture, write a song, and just keep pushing forward. And I promise you, you will see the fruits of your labor.
So we're back. Thank you, K Soul, for that. Surely appreciate it. We're going to get right into her performance. K Soul released a single today, and if you would and are listening, go to Spotify right now. Go to Spotify right now and look for K Soul, Strong Connection. Look, she has a message. She's coming with a message for the time. She's coming with a message to wrap around your mind. She has a message, strong connection, kindred spirit, strong connection. Everything you're doing, connect strong to it. Build strong with it. In spite of it all, build strong and stay connected to it. Everything you do, practice every day. Do everything. And let's go. Once again, I thank you again for joining us on this evening, the Business of Music Conference Spring Edition. I hope that y'all had a blast. Without further ado, I want to go ahead and continue on to the next part of our program. Introducing our featured artist for the evening, Ms. K Soul. Her musical director, Mr. Corey Beatty. Just a little bit about Kay. So I've been working with Kay now for about 8 months, going on 9 months, and realized that there was a special talent brewing out of this artist right here. I've seen the music elevate and grow from her first project that I've had the opportunity to distribute through One Nation Under God Distribution Services, which was In My Mind. I've seen the numbers, the impact that it had on people. I've seen things, it do things that music just don't do in this time and day. So how fitting it would be to have a One Nation Under God Records featured artist on the program this evening. So without further ado, from Chicago, Illinois, Ms. K Soul.
Thank you, Brian, for that amazing introduction. I am so excited to be here tonight. Thank you to the One Nation Under God family for having me. I'm going to be doing some original music tonight. The first few songs you will hear are from my current album, In My Mind. And the last song that I'll do for you tonight is my new single, Strong Connection, which is out today. So the first song is called in my veins. I released this record as the first single off my current album, In My Mind, which is out now. And I wrote Blood in My Veins for everyone who's ever been in that dark space, everyone who's ever been in a valley, everyone who's ever felt like that storm wouldn't end. Blood in My Veins is to encourage you. We all have a story. I have a story, you have a story. But there is beauty in your broken space. This is Blood in My Veins.
Find the you and you and master that one. Thank you. Like he was wrong. He didn't live no more. So you got to think about that. So there's another question. It says,
I wanna tell you a story of me. Tell you about my life before the street called green. See, I've been going through since a very little girl. Born at the bottom with a tattered old soul. I've been up and I've been down. The valley low won't hold me down. And you ain't seen what happened to me when darkness falls. Demons will creep, there's blood in my veins. Fear in my pain. Can't come out into the sunlight, 'cause it never ceased to rain on me. Blood in my veins. Fear in my pain. Can't come out into the sunlight, 'cause it never ceased to rain on me. Do you hear me now? I'm singing my song. Tell you about the things that been done wrong. Gonna expose sin, lay your at the cross. On my knees, Lord, help me please. I've been up and I've been down. The valley low won't hold me down. Just a little girl with a tattered old soul in the shakedown south. Be quiet, I was told there's blood in my veins. Fear in my pain. Can't come out into the sunlight, 'cause it never ceased to rain on me. Blood in my veins. Fear in my pain. Can't come out into the sunlight, 'cause it never ceased to rain on me. Blood in my veins, fear in my pain. All the memories that linger in my own brain. Take me out of here, don't wanna be here no more. Thank God he heard and he saved me. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Yeah,
I was just trying to put it in.
Do you hear me now? I'm singing my song. Tell you about the things that been done wrong. Gonna expose sin at the cross. Down on my knees, Lord, help me please. I've been up and I've been down. The valley low won't hold me down. Just a little girl with a tattered old soul in a shutdown south. Be quiet, I was told. Blood in my my veins. Fear in my pain. Blood in my veins. Fear in my pain. Oh, blood in my veins. Fear in my pain. Can't come out into the sunlight, 'cause it never ceases to rain on me. Can't come out into the sunlight. Oh, can't come out into the sunlight. Oh no, can't come out into the sunlight. Yeah. I can't come out into the sunlight. No. Blood in my veins, fear in my pain. Blood in my veins, fear in my pain. Can't come out into the sunlight, 'cause it never ceases to rain on me. I wrote a song called Silly Love, and as a mother of a young girl, I felt it was important that I write a love letter to our young girls, letting them know that you don't have to settle for second best. You're more than your body, you're more than your physical, and you deserve someone who will see you as such. Wait for him. This is Silly Love. You ever been a baby, baby, hoping for the times when he would make you his lady. Wanna be down for him. Ever think that baby, we could be together, baby, later. Wanna be down for you. Tell me what you know about silly love. Tell me what you know about silly love. Listen, the reality, baby girl, is you will never be the one satisfied with someone who only wants you for the physical, the depth of who you are, so broad, right, beautiful. You will never be happy, only being seen in that light, the diminished light of physical gratification. When you enter or vibrates on a higher level elevation, you deserve a love that sees you through that third eye, compliments your plight, will fight, wait for you. Silly love. Tell me what you know about silly love. Tell me what you know. Silly love, yeah. Silly love. I used to be the one thinking it was only sex, but you can't have the physical without getting spiritual. A ritual after the body that surely affects the soul. You deserve so much more than this silly love, yeah. Tell me what you know about silly love. 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 Yeah. Tell me what you know about silly love. Yeah. Tell me what you know about silly love. Tell me what you know about silly love. I don't want this no more. No more silly love. I wanna love, you wanna love. That's all your own. No more silly love.
Man, what an awesome performance, man, by Queso. If I have to say so myself, being an independent artist in this time and day is definitely difficult. You know, trying to keep the budget, trying to keep this and that and this and more of that. But one thing I will say is this artist on tonight has not only excelled in keeping herself as an independent artist, but also being all that she is through her music. On this evening, 4/23/2021, she releases her debut single. Well, I can't really call it a debut, but it's going to really be a connection between you and her going forward. Strong Connections, April 23rd, 2021. That is her single she'll be releasing on today. Go get it now. All digital retailers, Spotify, Tidal, Apple Music. It's available now. Go get it. Strong Connections. I suggest that you sit back, turn your radio up, and enjoy the soulful serenades of Queso.
Wow, thank you, Brian, so much. Thank you for the introduction of who I am as an artist and into this next record, Strong Connection. It has been an amazing evening. I appreciate you all joining in and tuning in and sharing your time and space with me. This next song is called Strong Connection. And it's about the connections that we have between ourselves and others. It's a new EP that's dropping, and this is the first single. And it's really about this soul tie. Sometimes we have connections with people that are so deep that they can't be broken. It's a strong connection. Got a strong connection, kinda like reflection. If I'm being honest, you make me lose direction. Such a strong connection. A one-time insurrection. Stole the walls of my heart for love's great resurrection. You love me. I love you. So tight, forever be connected to you. This time I'm being patient. medication, not taking no sweet words, just action affirmations. You love me, I love you, so ties forever be connected to you. Love me, and I love you. So ties forever be connected to you. You love me, and I love you. So ties forever be connected to you. You love me, and I love you. So ties forever be connected to you. You love me, and I love you. You love me, and I love you. You love me, and I love you. So ties forever be connected to you. Connected. You love me, and I love you. So ties forever be connected. So ties forever be connected. So ties forever be connected to you.
All right, man. What an awesome night. What an awesome night. Hey, we need you. We need your support. We need you to help this production, the Business of Music Conference. We plan to have several events this year, not just music business, but just changing the mindset, you know, changing the way we talk to one another, we think about each other and even ourselves. This is for you. Issues such as mental health, issues such as dating, relationships, love, life, period. Those are the things that we'll be talking about this year. I think that's very important to you as an artist, not just to focus on being an artist, but your mindset got to be a certain way too. So thank you again. This evening, I want to shout out my uncle, my dad, my uncle, Alan Johnson, behind the scenes, man. Hey, he does it for me every time. Definitely want to make sure I give him his proper respect. Miss Karen Marie Mason, man, she dropped nuggets. She dropped nuggets for us today. Spirit led. Hey, I hope you caught it. Our host for the evening, Latanya Moore, Esquire. Great person. Great personality. Great spirit. Great way to lead us to the promised land. Let me say that. All right. And Bernadette Harris. Man, I think that if you didn't take notes tonight, I almost want to tell you don't go to the replay because that's on you. I might take it down. But no, go back to the replay. Take notes on everything. Look, we're not here to just give you information and then you put it in your notebook and maybe I'll get back to it. Kool-Aid gets spilled on it. Doggy get to it. Application. So practice is really application too. You got to practice. You got to applicate. Use what you know. As soon as I learned something, I wouldn't try to use it. As soon as I knew how to do something, I wouldn't try to do it. So remember, in these times, in these days that we're in right now, in spite of everything that you see in the news, everything that you hear and think about yourself, eliminate that, erase that. Look, hey, let's just do this. 2020 was a reset. So let's go ahead and plant seeds on good ground now. Let's let our skills, our gifts, our things we've been doing before the pandemic, let's continue on in them and practice every day until we become them. Let's see ourselves on the stage every day. Look, producers, engineers, artists, One Nation Under God Records is now to the point where we are hiring. We are looking to develop relationships, partnerships with producers, engineers, those that create foundations for artists to lay their tracks on. Hey, if the foundation is right, the song will be right. So producers, engineers, One Nation Under God Records is looking for you. One Nation Under God Records.com is our website. www.onenationundergodrecords.com is our website. Our email for producers and engineers, if you're interested in joining our team, please, One Nation Under God Inc. at gmail.com. One Nation Under God Inc. at gmail.com. Again, tonight was wonderful. It was excellent. I think this is going to set the foundation for us going forth. If you ever need us, we love you. One Nation Under God Records. Remember that. We love you. Give me a call. Send me an email. Let's get to know you. Let's do business together. Let's grow together. Let's unite. And I'm not going to drop no mic. I'm just going to say cut it. Hey, we out.